right, marinades. Today we do a little standalone video because marinading is critical. Now everyone marinades, I think, and I'm just going to sort of throw in my 5 cents to it, really. We're doing some Cuban chicken, and Cuban food requires marinating to a massive degree, because actually the reason anyone would have used it was because the meat quality wasn't very good. And you know, the countries that have particular ingredients around them, they'll just use what's around them. So the Cubans would use cumin, they would use oregano, and they would use lemon, lime, orange, which is exactly what I've done in this one. But when you're marinating, what we're basically trying to do is infuse flavour. So what is actually more important than things like oils in marinades are actually the acids, the vinegars. Or anything that kind of has acid, so orange juice, lime juice, things like that. Because what they'll do is they'll help to penetrate and also break down some of the proteins in the meat, I believe, that will make the meat more tender when we come to cooking it. But they're the things that are going to sort of infuse and allow the meat to have added moisture. But at the same time, if you chuck other things in this marinade, it's gonna help to push those flavours in too. So garlic is a cracking marinade. In the case of this one, I've got bay leaf, I've got onion, I've got a bit of coriander stalk, so just the ends of these, which we don't always use, but I'll talk about another time, and some cumin, and then the acid, a tiny little bit of oil, because when it comes to cook the chicken, it means it's kind of ready to go. I don't put salt in a marinade, actually. Salt is going to draw the moisture out of your meat, and that's exactly what we're trying not to do. But so ultimately, you can put anything in a marinade, but it's aromatics, it's things that have strong aromatic flavours, smells. And to be honest, you can play with that. You know, there's very little that's not going to work.
It's really interesting. Can I just ask a question?
Of course you can.
Are there particular types of meat that you would classically marinate?
No, to be honest, do you know what's more important is for how long you marinate something. So it's not that there are particular meats that we would necessarily marinate, although we would choose to marinate maybe meats that are quite tough. Meats that are quite tough, you might choose to use a kind of an acidy marinade, like I said before, to break down some of what's going on in that meat. It just helps to kind of soften it, you know, ready for cooking. But the point I was making before is that if you've got something like a chicken breast that has very little fat or cartilage or anything that's going on in it, you don't want a marinade you don't want to marinate it for too long, because we don't cook those things for very long. But if something that we're going to slow roast for a really long time, you might use a very heavy marinade because you're going to cook that for a really long time and it can handle it. That's basically it.
Great.